sent to a German mental institution in 1907 after being convicted of sabotage, Katharina Detzel made this creepy husband doll out of straw. It's said that she carried the doll everywhere, interacting with it as though it were living flesh and blood. The statue of Neptune in Gran Canaria, Spain, stands tall as a majestic tribute to the sea. Located in Puerto de Mogan, this iconic sculpture portrays Neptune, also known as Poseidon, who is the god of the sea in Greek mythology. The intricate details and coastal setting make it a captivating landmark. This is a photo of Alexander Skarsgård wearing a Pennywise mask, flipping off his brother, Bill Skarsgård, who actually was Pennywise. The Sedlec Ossuary is a Roman Catholic chapel in the Czech Republic. The ossuary is estimated to contain the skeletons of between 40,000 and 70,000 people, whose bones have in many cases been artistically arranged to form decorations and furnishings for the chapel. In Pripyat, within the Chernobyl exclusion zone, abandoned gas masks scattered on a school floor tell a haunting tale of the 1986 nuclear disaster. Frozen in time, these relics bear witness to the abrupt evacuation, leaving behind a chilling reminder of the tragedy's impact on daily life. Various blood-sucking monsters exist beyond Dracula. The chupacabra, a legendary creature in Latin American folklore, is known for draining livestock's blood. Mythology worldwide features diverse beings with a thirst for blood, expanding the vampiric lore. In 1971, the Pereira family began to encounter strange human-like faces, stains, that appeared and disappeared in their home without explanation. One day, Maria Gomez told her husband that a face had appeared on the concrete floor in the kitchen. Her husband immediately destroyed the image with a pickaxe, only to have it appear again later. However, skeptical researchers have performed extensive tests on the faces and believe that they are fabrications possibly created as part of a hoax. It is suspected that the Pereira family may have perpetrated the hoax for financial gain. 6 incredibly scary, morbid facts that will blow your mind. Unit 731 conducted heinous human experiments during World War II. Vantablack, the world's darkest material, absorbs 99.965% of visible light. The Blood Eagle was a Viking execution method involving carving ribs like wings. The Blue Fugates of Kentucky had a genetic condition causing blue skin. Heaven's Gate cult believed a comet hid an extraterrestrial spacecraft. Wendigo psychosis involves a cultural belief in a cannibalistic spirit. The legend of Mary Worth, also known as Bloody Mary, haunts Christmas Eve. Summoned by chanting her name in front of a mirror, it's believed she appears with a disfigured face, foretelling doom. Some say encountering her brings misfortune or even death, adding a chilling twist to the festive season. Space exploration's dark side includes astronaut fatalities, like the Challenger and Columbia disasters. Harsh conditions in space impact mental health, and long missions pose physical risks. These grim realities underscore the challenges and sacrifices in our quest for the cosmos. On July 10, 1971, Douglas Legg, age 8, disappeared on a hike on the Santanoni estate near Newcomb in the Adirondack Mountains and was never seen again. The story unfolds with eerie circumstances, raising questions about the disappearance. Despite search and investigative efforts, the case remains unresolved, leaving a haunting sense of mystery in the picturesque Adirondacks. Delving into the shadows of infamous serial killers reveals disturbing nuances. Richard Ramirez's satanic rituals, Albert Fish's cannibalistic tendencies, and Edmund Kemper's disturbing interviews unveil chilling dimensions. These lesser-known details emphasize the macabre depths of these criminals' psyches, painting a more haunting portrait of their heinous actions. Daniel Holtzclaw, an ex-Oklahoma City police officer, was convicted in 2015 for sexually assaulting women during traffic stops. His egregious abuse of power and the vulnerability of his victims exposed a disturbing breach of trust within law enforcement. A millisecond after this image was taken, Tom Price struck Marshal Frederick Jansen Van Vuren at 170 miles per hour during the 1977 F1 race in South Africa. Frederick died instantly, and his body was split into multiple pieces upon impact. Price also sadly lost his life as a result of the crash. There are 2 people buried under one of the runways at Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. When the airport expanded a runway during World War II, it paved over a family burial site. The family's descendants permitted the relocation of 96 out of the 100 graves. The Dotson family was adamant about preserving the original burial spot for their matriarch and patriarch, convinced that their ancestors wouldn't have desired to forsake the cultivated land they had worked on. The graves of Richard and Catherine Dotson, the farmers who originally owned the land and died in 1884 and 1877, sit on the edges of runways 10 and 28, while 2 other graves are off to the side. This photo from March 5, 1985 shows the bodies of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena and his pilot after they were kidnapped and killed by the Guadalajara cartel. Kiki passed along information that would lead to billions in lost sales. On February 7, 1985, he was kidnapped in broad daylight by the cartel, interrogated under torture, and murdered. Mexico ultimately convicted 3 leaders of the Guadalajara drug cartel for Camarena's murder. The U.S. inquiry into Camarena's killing resulted in an additional 10 trials for other Mexican nationals implicated in the crime. This video footage shows the notorious Big leaving a party in March 1997, just moments before he was shot 4 times. The final bullet was the only fatal shot. It entered through his right hip and struck his colon, liver, heart, and left lung before stopping in his left shoulder. In 2021, a police officer stopped 24-year-old Luis Fernando Ceballos and Alexis Rodriguez, who was 27 years old, for reckless driving and gave them a ticket. 14 minutes later, the officer responded to a call about a fatal car crash. Both Luis and Alexis were involved and passed away as a result. This selfie of Colette Moreno with her friend Ashley Theobald was taken on their way to Colette's own bachelorette party. Just 8 minutes after taking this selfie, both of them tragically lost their lives in an accident. Colette passed away 5 weeks before her wedding. Dramatic bodycam footage from 2019 shows the moment officers ripped open a plastic bag to find a newborn baby girl who had been abandoned on the side of the road in Georgia. Thankfully, the child was still alive and was placed into foster care after being rescued. The mother of the child was arrested in 2023. Karima Jiwani was arrested after authorities used DNA to identify the biological parents of the child, named Baby India. In April 2018, 16-year-old Kyle Plush made multiple 911 calls to police as he was being crushed to death by the seat in his minivan in Ohio. Plush was found dead when his family used the Find My iPhone app to locate him. These shocking photos show ex-corrections officer Kirk Martin covered in scratches after he sexually assaulted a woman who fought back. In 2019, Judge Cindy Morris sentenced Martin to 5 life sentences to be served consecutively, including one with no possibility of parole. Raymond Robinson, who was disfigured by an electrical accident at 8 years old, became an urban legend in Pennsylvania. His walks at night earned him mythical names like the Green Man. Despite public fear, he was a real person, liked by family and neighbors. He sadly passed away in 1985 at 74. In 1994, Alison Botha survived a brutal abduction in South Africa, enduring rape, disembowelment, and near decapitation. Despite 30 stab wounds, she etched her attackers' names in case she died. She held her severed head and miraculously flagged down help. Discovered by veterinary student Tian Eilerd, Botha was promptly aided by emergency services. One doctor noted the unprecedented severity of her injuries. Bob Saget is seen in his final photo just hours before he passed away after a fatal fall in his hotel room at age 65. Hannelore Schmatz, the fourth woman to summit Everest, tragically passed away as she was returning via the southern route. Preserved for years, her seated body became a haunting sight. In 1984, a rescue attempt led to the deaths of Police Inspector Yogendra Bahadur Thapa and his guide Ang Dorji. Mistaken for a tent, Schmatz's body was eventually pushed over Everest's Kangshung face by the wind. When domesticated dogs and cats are left alone with their deceased owners, it isn't uncommon for the animal to begin eating them. Scientists hypothesize pets will lick and nip at their owner's face for comfort out of the distress of seeing them unconscious or hurt. Eventually, they draw blood and instinct takes over from there. There is a billboard in LA that shows the number of smoking-related deaths in a year. This was taken during New Year's Eve. Scary space facts that will blow your mind. In space, no one can hear you scream. Vampire stars can suck the life out of other stars. Black holes can consume entire galaxies and can even bend space-time around them. There is a dreaded space anomaly called the Great Attractor, with a gravitational pull so powerful that it can pull entire galaxies towards itself and collapse them into each other. The most realistic threat our planet faces is meteors. Staying in zero gravity for long periods of time can affect a person's physical and mental health. Extended space travel can change your DNA. Here are the most unbelievable unsolved mysteries. First up, we have the Bermuda Triangle. Number 2, the Zodiac Killer. Third on the list is the Voynich manuscript. Fourth, the Black Dahlia murder. Our fifth mystery is D.B. Cooper's hijacking. And last but not least, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. Rosalia Lombardo, known as the Sleeping Beauty mummy, rests in the Capuchin catacombs of Palermo. Preserved in a near-lifelike state, her embalming technique remains a mystery, captivating historians and scientists alike. The eerie beauty of her preservation defies the passage of time. Here are the top 5 deadly obsessions. Fatal attractions. This is when people are intrigued by stories of obsessions leading to dangerous relationships and deadly consequences. Dark web fascination. The exploration of the perilous allure of the dark web, where obsessions take a criminal turn. Next, we have serial killer fixations. This is the unraveling of the twisted minds of those obsessed with committing heinous crimes. Stalker chronicles. These are harrowing accounts of relentless obsessions that escalate into terrifying stalking situations. And finally, cult fanaticism. This is examining deadly consequences when individuals become fanatically devoted to destructive cults. Morbid facts about Halloween you didn't know. Believe it or not, the birthplace of Halloween is not a sugar factory. The holiday has been around for about 6,000 years, and it is believed to have originated around 4000 BC in Ireland. The average American eats about 3.4 pounds of Halloween candy, the weight of a small chihuahua in a Halloween costume. Are you afraid of Halloween? Then you might suffer from samhainophobia, the fear of Halloween. The world's heaviest pumpkin grew in a Swiss garden. It weighed 2,096 pounds, as much as a small car. Morbid facts. Animals that are really creepy. The blobfish. It appears eerie due to its gelatinous blob-like appearance. The star-nosed mole. Its star-shaped nose may seem unsettling. The vampire bat, it feeds on blood, often associated with horror imagery. The Suriname toad, it carries its eggs embedded in its back, creating a bizarre sight. And finally, the trapdoor spider, it ambushes prey from a camouflaged, silk-lined burrow, adding a touch of spookiness to its hunting strategy. Brittany Wood's mysterious disappearance in 2012 raised alarms. The Alabama woman vanished under unclear circumstances, and her case is entangled with a family-linked series of missing persons and deaths. Despite investigations, the unsettling details of her disappearance remain unsolved. In 1996, Martin Bryant took the lives of 35 people and injured 23 others in a mass shooting in the Port Arthur, Australia. After months of denying, he unexpectedly admitted being guilty, thinking the police stopped recording. He is serving 35 life sentences, plus 1,652 years at Risdon Prison in Hobart. In 2010, Gareth Williams, a British MI6 codebreaker, was found dead at his London flat, with his decomposing body in the bathtub, padlocked inside a bag. Initially, police concluded that his death was unnatural and likely to have been criminally mediated. However, shortly after, the death was re-examined as part of a new investigation by the Metropolitan Police, and they concluded that the death was probably an accident. In 2004, Gary Webb, the California reporter who first broke the story of CIA involvement in the cocaine trade, was found dead with 2 gunshot wounds to the head. His death was ruled as suicide. News footage from March 2023 captures Fox News reporter Alicia Acuna covering the East High School shooting in Denver. During the live report, her son, who was inside the school, comes over to hug her. Alice Wood, age 23, fatally struck Ryan Watson, age 24, in what witnesses called a game of chicken after the couple had an argument while attending a charity party in May 2022. Wood had accused Watson of flirting with another woman at the party. She was convicted of murder. On January 2, 2024, a Japan Airlines plane with 367 people on board collided with a Coast Guard plane at a Tokyo airport. All 367 passengers survived, but sadly, 5 crew members on the Coast Guard plane lost their lives.